This whole idea of journalistic integrity and the idea that the New York Times urges all of us to eat strange meat, whether it be human or whatever. This just proves to me that America is in a simulation mode now. It's not America. It's something else. The experiment's over, or it appears to be over. And whatever happens next is certainly an indication of dark days ahead. I mean, it'd be totally awesome for me to tell you that things are looking brighter, but I predicted some very dark things lately. The powers in charge now are pushing the masses into becoming useful idiots for the state, and they'll give them all that is needed, and then they'll take away the comfort and confidence that most Americans have about how unique they are, how unique their lives are. I mean, you can't be unique if they look upon you as being a parasite or a pig who swallows up resources that they wish to own and keep for themselves, you see. That's what it all boils down to, right? And yet doing the work to understand ourselves and the world in which we live is so, well, it's such a small task, but we're being bogged down with policies, ideas, and perspectives that present this challenge to us in increasingly significant and meaningful ways, and made all that more important for their intensity and widespread ramifications. Do this or this happens. Do that and do that happens. And blah, 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 right? Here we are. We're living in the 21st century, the time of communication, the time of technology, and I find it hard to conceive that in order for us to meet the quota for net zero, or net zero carbon, or whatever we're going to call it, we're going to have to live like we're in the 13th century, complete with plagues, scarcity, starvation, debt, and eating each other. Seriously. I mean, are you feeling the pinch yet? I mean, I feel it. I'm noticing it. I was reading today that that famous bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich called in the bodega. It's called Bodega or something. It's in New York, the place where Harley Quinn got her sandwich in the movie. Used to be $2.50 for that sandwich. Now it's $4.50 for that sandwich. That's a lot of money for a sandwich. You know what happens when store shelves empty? Do you know what it feels like when you go to the store, you see the product you want, and it's gone, and there's this sense of dread because you worry that someone may take you out because they want the product that you got, or that you want to see. So you see somebody with the product that you want, and you may take them out. And I'm talking about products here, not crusts of bread, but they'd want it that way too. Fight over your last crust of bread, or what's left of the meat of the bones of your loved one that's out in the gutter because they die. I mean, for 10 years, the plan has been to graduate the public into eating culturally inappropriate foods and unconventional protein sources. We've talked about the mealworms and the crickets and other foods that poor countries have been used to eating every day. And then we have this observance in the New York Times that states that we are being programmed to get used to the idea of another addition to the food triangle, human flesh. And in the reality that I see, the synchronicity is apparent because everyone knows about Soylent Green, right? We had a caller. Soylent Green is people. Why? Well, it applies. Soylent Green takes place in the year 2020. Or 2022, sorry. It takes place in 2022. That's synchronicity. It takes place in 2022. That's the date where the events of Soylent Green take place. Now, the movie came out in 1973, but in the final scene of Soylent Green, Charlton Heston, of course, plays this detective named Frank Thorne being led off on a stretcher following a gun battle when he desperately reveals the secret he wants the world to know. The green wafer, the nutritious green wafer that's supposed to save the planet, Soylent Green, is composed of pulverized remains of human corpses. Soylent Green is people! It's made from people! we've yelled that once in our lives. Everybody has. What? Why do we do it? Well, we do it because we want to impress our geeky friends, right? And that is if you had any geeky friends or geeky cred. I mean, you do it anyway, just because. Geeky people do that sort of thing, right? You just don't want to tell your friends that you once in your life have yelled that. It's up there with, Luke, I am your father. It's up. You've never said that? Which one? No, I know. It's a Mandela effect. Okay, Wes is trying to correct me through the glass. I can't hear him, so I'll just ignore him. No, I can't. He's my producer. Anyway, that's the whole point, right? Is that here we are, cursed with comparisons of Soylent Green, and how close we are in the real 2022, year zero, where we're forced to eat grandma and grandpa. Yum. Feet. It's what's for dinner. In the real world 2022, and in the world of Soylent Green 2022, you can make comparisons and they get a little eerie, get a little weird, right? I mean, because the film is all about the world being devastated by climate change. Its oceans are polluted with waste, overpopulation, and overuse of resources. It all leads to shortages of food and water. Housing prices skyrocket to the point that only the elite can afford apartments. And here we are in our real 2022, and things are basically the same. But here's the thing. Some people can't even afford apartments. They live in the streets. They live in tents. They camp out in front of my apartment. They had to fence off the whole area there because there were people camping outside, right outside my doorstep. In the movie, okay, remember I talked about that $4.50 sandwich? In the movie, Soylent Green, the food shortage is so extreme that a jar of strawberry jam is $1.50. No, it's not $1.50. Sorry, $150. That's how much a bottle of strawberry jam is. $150. And people cannot even afford to buy beef. When they see beef, they cry because they can't have it anymore. Housing in New York City, where Soylent Green is set, is only affordable to the richest of the rich. They call them the elite, of course. Everyone else, well, they either sleep in, tents, or they sleep in very bad apartments. They sleep in their cars. They sleep in the streets. Then you have this corporation, Soylent Green Corporation, something like Monsanto or Bayer or Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They control the world's food supply. And in many ways, the information faucet to the 7 billion people around the world is this Soylent Green Corporation. They're a food corporation and a drug corporation, and they own the news media. Sounds like Pfizer. I just do so many comparisons. And so the movie's been pretty accurate in its forecast, because our world population now is well over 7.9 billion, soon to be 8 billion. They say by November we'll be at 8 billion. So the corporation protects itself from public examination or even the most cursory questioning. It's duplicitous messaging. The like I say, doublethink again. People choose. This is what is so weird. People want to try and survive, and there are others that want to die. They want to be euthanized. It's the older people. They see this beautiful montage of waterfalls, deer flowers, you name it. And then they end up taking a few deep breaths and they're dead, and then their body is pulverized into a wafer. So what the elderly do is they voluntarily commit suicide with the aid of a euthanasia clinic. But in our real world of 2022, and I did the statistic, here's the statistic, a fifth of those 8 billion humans out there will be at least 65 years old and less physically able than the rest to contribute to what remains of a society. So, perhaps the New York Times is telling the truth with their tongue pressed firmly in their cheek about eating grandma and grandpa. This may be something that may happen. Soylent Green is people. Reality as well.